Hi, welcome to Writer's Mind Burning Question of the Week. This week the question is really fab. I've not had this question before, and it's not about interspecies communication, it's communication between horse to horse. And I had a friend ask, how do the horses send each other messages and what do they talk about? And I thought this is a fantastic question because we're usually looking at things from our human point of view, and to have a question about the horse's point of view of the horse world is a lovely invitation to have a look at that. So when I connected with the two horses that this person was particularly interested in, they kind of spoke one at a time rather than all jumping in, but they were showing that the way communication and information flows between the two of them is very much like if you picture waves, energy waves. Some of them are long and smooth, and some of them are jagged. Some of them have a short oscillation, some of them have a long open oscillation. And this was the type of thing that the horses were showing, that they are able to move information and communication around between themselves by using these energy waves, which I thought was amazing. If you've ever seen a hot road, and you can see the heat haze coming off the road, that was kind of the image that the horses were sharing. And the idea that you can send pieces of information through that in varying forms was fabulous, because we tend to think of our communication very much as being verbal and body posture, which I guess to a horse's point of view, when they're working in energy waves, must seem pretty, I suppose, pretty crude, where the energy is changing itself in every moment for the horses to be able to communicate and pick up what's going on in their environment. And when you think about it, it makes great sense, because they are picking up energetic information and energetic imprints from everything around them all the time to be able to stay safe, to be able to know where resources are, and to be able to keep the herd socially together. And it's a really interesting way of invitation, I guess, interesting invitation for us to stop and think, wonder what vibrations we're giving out, instead of thinking about our communication with our horses as, I put my hand here and I ask you to move your hindquarters, and I move into your space and I'm projecting my energy forward and asking you to move. I guess that in a way is starting to have an energetic conversation. But what if you were to just drop all the words and stop moving so much, and see how absolutely subtle at a vibrational level you could make your connection with your horse? So thanks very much for this question. It was a really fun one to have a look at, and where it goes, I'm not quite sure how subtle it can be. Again, I'm not quite sure. When I do animal communication, the only way I can describe it is like tuning into a channel on a radio station that's always there, but I'm choosing to tune into it or not, depending on what's going on at the time. So I guess in a way, that vibration of everything being connected and picking up the energetic imprints of things and getting valuable information from those really fits very well with the idea of how can a communicator talk to a horse that they've A, never met, and B, is sometimes halfway across the world. So it really begs the question, maybe everything is energy, and energy is everything, and what we think about as being solid and being real is just another form of that energy. So getting pretty out there. It may not be your cup of tea, but it really is an interesting place to start thinking about how to create a connection with your horse. Because if there's a lot of vibrational information coming from your heart space, which has, as far as I can see from the HeartMath Institute research, the biggest vibrational capacity, that's the one that they can measure the most. There's far more information coming out of your heart than there is coming out of your head and your brain waves. So if that's the case, your heart and your gut really are great resonance chambers for picking up an incredible depth and an incredible subtlety of information. We've all had situations, I'm sure, where we're standing there and we just, I feel something that isn't quite right, and we don't really know why, and we may find out later what it is. But it's almost as if our gut or our heart has just picked up a very light energy message zooming across the great world that we live in, and then said, I wonder what that means. I felt that. Not so much I knew that, it's I felt that. I wonder what it means. Alternatively, I'm sure you've had situations where you've walked in and you've just felt, ooh, this is not a nice place to be. I don't feel good about being here. I can remember I was diving once and there was a beautiful wreck covered in marine life, and we went down on the wreck and had a bit of a look around, but I couldn't bring myself to touch it, and I didn't really know why. And I went to the boat crew afterwards and I said, what happened to this boat? And they said, oh, about 200 people had died on it. And I didn't know this before I'd gone down there, but it felt incredibly cold and the water was very warm. And I just got a real repulsing sense of energy coming out of this boat that it wasn't right for me to be going inside of it and having a look around. So we're a lot more energetically sensitive than we give ourselves credit for, I think. And the horses are just inviting us to be aware that that subtlety of communication and that ability to pick up just the smallest of cues and the smallest of kind of emotional transferring information as well is the level of that they work at. And hey, maybe they're asking us to get to that level as well. So thanks very much for listening into this week's Burning Question. And please come to Rider's Mind if I can be of any help with helping you connect with your horse or helping you connect with yourself, so you can therefore connect with your horse at a really deep and beautiful level. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.